You got a smile that makes the sun rise. You make it shine. But I can see that you don't realize. And that's what made me fall in love. 'Cause you got style. The way your body makes my heart beat sound. It's amazing all the time. You are the only thing I need in life. Oh, I want you. Can't you see? I want you. I believe 'cause I want you. Here with me, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy for love. I look at you and know it's alright. You read my mind, but I can see that you don't realize, and that's what made me fall in love. 'Cause you got style. The way your body makes my heart beat sound. It's amazing all the time. You are the only thing I need in life. Oh, I want you. Can't you see? I want you. I believe 'cause I want you. Here with me, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy for love. I don't need another love. Yeah. We do this every day. We do this love for life. You got a smile that makes the sun rise. You make it shine. But I can see that you don't realize. And that's what made me fall in love. 'Cause you got style. The way your body makes my heart beat sound. It's amazing all the time. You are the only thing I need in life. Oh, I want you. Can't you see? I want you. I believe 'cause I want you. Here with me, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy for love.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to that Sunday staple of your viewing pleasure. It is the Clubhouse Gaddick Chat. The ladies are back with another incredible guest tonight. He is a giant guest in many natures. Make sure if it's your first time in, you do us a favor, hit that like, sub up if you're new, and if you're watching on the replay, definitely leave a comment or a question. And of course, if you have questions tonight in the chat and we don't get to them, you can always post those questions after the show is over in the comment section, and we will get them to our guests. We're excited tonight. We got a good one lined up, so let's get the ladies in here and chat a little bit. Hello, ladies. Welcome in for your second or first Sunday in December. Technically, it's the 7th. Miss Tina is out working, so the best to her on this Sunday afternoon. But in her place, we have Miss Dame Dystopia joining in and helping us out. Hello, good to see you. How's your Sunday going?
Pretty good. How about you?
It's rolling right along.
Rolled right into that national championship playoff.
Yes. I guess. I have no idea. Jen, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. Doing good, thanks. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's Sunday. We're here. We've got 50-some people in here already to see you ladies, and it's going to keep growing, so I'm excited. Miss Mandy, how's life on the llama farm?
The llamas are doing great. And today's been an exceptionally wonderful day. Got to see a snow game. Love it. Any game that's played in football game that's played in snow, I'm there to watch. And then the first time this season we've made chili. So it's been a great Sunday.
Nice. Okay. Nice.
Chili sounds good.
It does. Sounds very warming. I like it. Okay.
Miss Hey, Paul, we need chili. Chop, chop.
Okay, there we go. Paul's making chili. Steph, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
We're excited.
I was downtown Baltimore yesterday, having fun. Out at Inner Harbor.
Yep, I don't go there. It's dangerous.
Well, they had a lot of Christmas festivals, and it had a big German one with all the German foods and stuff. So it was really
nice. Yeah, they do. They do some good festivals down there for sure. Well, I'm excited. We've got a great guest lined up for tonight, which I know a lot of people are excited to see. We got some great trivia questions lined up, and I think we should get things started by saying hello to everyone in the chat. And I think it's Steph's turn to help us out with that. So I'm going to apply the hand in the correct way and get ready to say hello.
All righty, let me write down 2 more names here before I forget. And I know, I'm sorry, I'm taking too long. Okay, let's welcome in, please, Fred O'Malley. Hello to the Disney Baker. Disney Baker. Debbie Burnfield's here tonight. We've got Miss Ann E. 22. We've got Mr. Pat Cakes. Patty Cakes. We've got Mike Beachman. We've got Mark F. We've got Matt Walter. We've got Mara Memphis. We've got Teresa Squara. We've got Lamont Gray. We have Miss Italian. We've got Paige C. Welcome into Jill. Wait, what? Oh. Jill Walkbritt is here. We've got Go Mini. We've got Packers 2015. We've got Mr. Paul Engel. We've got Benjamin Elliott. We've got Mykola Shlushchenko. Did I say that right? Oh, no. I'm trying. Okay. Molly's mom, Miss Anita's here. We've got Zippity Doo Doug. We've got Cruise and Theme Park Guide. JC Skipper Brian is here. Nice. We've got Thad, who is our guest tonight. He's also in the chat. We've got Miss Jennifer Caruso. We've got Mr. Jim Wilson, 82. We've got America's lovely flight attendant, who we love so much, Miss Regina Erie, shopper extraordinaire, and Miss Jules Merck. So I'm still looking to see if there's more. Oh, Katie Phillips is here. Welcome in, Katie. And if I didn't get you, Patrick Julian, I see you. So if I didn't get you yet, I will get you next time.
Awesome. Okay, great job. Oh, we forgot one person.
Who?
Elf named Bubbles.
Bubbles, the elf. Yay. Welcome, Bubbles.
Sorry.
No reaction.
Oh, Jed, get me out of this. You did a great job writing the show last week. Let's talk about last week's show.
So last week we had an amazing show learning all about Surfer Girl Cherie. Here are some of those highlights. We got to see a more personal side of Cherie as she shared her touching story of overcoming cancer and the sweet story of how she and James first met. Cherie shared heartwarming stories from her time volunteering with Samaritan's Purse, Operation Christmas Child, Coastal Animal Rescue, and Castaway Paws. We heard about her favorite Epcot festival and the funny story of the Winnie the Pooh ride. And we all gained insight into what her YouTube channel offers, as well as her enthusiasm for pins and all things Stitch. So I encourage everyone to leave a comment on that show with their thoughts. And the mods, if you can please drop that link from last week's show, I would appreciate it. And now we'll move it over to Dame, who's going to tell us about who our guest is this week.
Nice.
Joining us this week, we, in just a few minutes, we have a newer content creator in the Disney community, but don't let that fool you. He has taken this community by storm with his giant personality and engaging live streams. His adventures have taken him around the world, riding roller coasters and discovering theme parks everywhere he goes. Streaming live multiple times per week from one of Orlando's theme parks. His giant fans of fun are right there supporting him. Joining us tonight will be Thad, the theme park giant.
That's going to be awesome. I'm excited to sit and talk with him. We've had him on a couple other different shows on the channel, and he's done a great job. And I look forward to getting to learn a lot more about him tonight. I think we need to go to Steph real quick, don't we, Dame, to see if we got anybody new before I go? Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, because people are just coming in. That's awesome. And everybody's just jumping in and talking, and that's so cool. All right, so hello to Surf Bum John, to Gloria and Jason Thibodeau. Welcome in. We've got Dave Strahan. We've got Creating the Magic. We've got Dutchyland, Jonathan Chong, Ghost Host, and we have Thomas Cannon Jr. So welcome in.
Well, welcome in, friends. Do me a favor, hit that like tonight. We'd really appreciate it. All of the ladies for their Instagram will be dropped in the chat throughout the night. You can give a follow to any of our friends here. Also, the links for our guests tonight will be in there sporadically throughout the stream. You can click on them, give them a follow. Of course, we want you to follow because you want to check out his content. And if you're new to us tonight for the first time, watching live on the replay, of course, please hit that subscribe and come back as we put out Disney content literally every day of the week. It's time for trivia time, which I always love to do. And it's a newer segment that we've done on this channel. We've had a lot of fun with it. Tonight's trivia, we are honoring and respecting one of our guests' favorite characters, which I think is kind of cool. Tying in the theme to our guests. Now, we're going to give you questions that tie in to Figment. Figment. Dame, that's a character in Epcot. He's purple. Figment. Just letting you in case you didn't know.
Like the llamas.
Yeah, no. That's him. That's him.
Nice.
And that's exactly the same way that Cake sits when he's waiting for a treat. Just like that. So let's go first. Miss Stephanie, I'll go to you real quick so that you can keep writing names. We'll do it with you.
Okay.
Who wrote the song One Little Spark for the attraction? Was it A, Walt Disney, B, Elton John, C, Alan Menken, or D, the Sherman Brothers?
The Sherman Brothers.
You are correct. Congratulations.
Yes, I did it all by myself.
1 for 1. You did it all by yourself. That's true. Because you didn't have Paul Googling. Okay, we'll just move left to right. We'll keep going here. Miss Mandy, what was unique about Figment as a character created for the theme park? Was it A, that he was originally blue in color? B, he was the first dragon character for Disney? C, he was originally considered a villain? Or D, he was one of the first characters created exclusively for a theme park? Your time starts now.
I believe it's D.
It is D. You're right. You're absolutely right. 2 for 2. Wow.
Oh boy.
That's awesome.
Pressure's
You didn't
on.
even use up all your time.
I know. Pressure's on here. Pressure's on here. Was one of the first reasons Figment's color was changed to purple? What was one of the first reasons he was changed? Was it purple was Walt Disney's favorite color? A. B, the sponsor Kodak wanted to avoid the color green. Was it C, the purple was the favorite color of the Imagineer that created Figment? Or was it D, purple is Pete's favorite color? I would go with D.
Not if you want to get it right there.
Well, we all know that purple is your favorite color.
Correct.
And we all know that purple is not my favorite color.
Incorrect.
Correct.
Oh.
But you said Walt Disney's favorite color or the Imagineer's favorite color or
Kodak wanted to avoid the color green.
I'll go with the Kodak.
You are correct. That's 3 for 3. It is the Kodak.
Oh, well, I mean, that's like
Green screen.
The second correct answer. The first correct answer was Pete McDevitt's favorite color.
Well, that's true. But it wasn't the answer for this thing, so. Okay, let's go to the next question. We're going to go 4 for 4. Okay, ready? What inspired the name Figment for the dragon character? Was it A famous book about imagination? B, a reference to famous inventors? Was it C, a Disney Imagineer's childhood nickname? Or was it D, a line from an episode in Magnum P.I.?
I really want to go with the Magnum P.I. answer.
You're correct.
You stopped her before she changed her mind.
I had no idea about that. Zero idea that Magnum P.I. played in the idea of Figment. So
Nice.
that's amazing.
Nice save.
Here, I'm gonna Dame. I'm gonna give you a quick bonus one since you're helping us out tonight. In which Disney Pixar movie does Figment make the most cameo appearances? Is it A, Toy Story 4 and Inside Out? B, Inside Out and Finding Nemo? C, Finding Nemo and The Incredibles? Or D, Georgia beating Alabama yesterday? Which one would it be? Which one is it?
I gotta go.
She has to go.
You gotta go? Where are you going? Which one is it?
To the playoffs. That's where I'm going. I will pick. I don't know. I don't even remember the answers.
A is Toy Story.
Sounds good.
You're right.
A sounds
Toy Story 4 and Inside Out. I didn't know that either.
Wow. Woohoo! Dang.
I got to go back and pay attention to Toy Story 4. I don't remember him in there. So, okay. That was my quick front. Got to have fun with Dane while we're here. Initiation. I promised Tina I wouldn't do it. She's not here to stop me. So it works out great. All right, let's get into it. We got a great guest tonight. I'm excited tonight. Our guest was excited tonight, and Mandy's going to kick it off. We're going to bring our guest in. He is 9'4", 9'6" with the afro, and he is an amazing, amazing guy. He came into the community, and I saw him. We first started talking football and realized we also had a love of Disney in common. And I've watched him grow his channel in the last year, from its infancy up to where it is now, and several thousand followers follow him now. It's exciting to go into his streams and see at times 200, 300, 400, 500 plus people in there watching him. I've also watched him improve along the way, and there's nobody better at giving cakes a hard time. So in my book, he's pretty good. Welcome in Theme Park Giant into the stream. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, how's it going? There's my no cake sign.
Okay. Oh, Lord. Okay, that's good. All right. An afro. Yes, Park Bros. It's a reference to Fletch. You got to watch the movie Fletch. Did anybody
Fletch?
pick that
Oh,
up?
that was so great. That was great.
Don't you remember Fletch? When
I love it.
The guy was describing in the first go. He's 6'3", 6'6" with the afro. It's Fletch. Yep. Movie reference. All right, I'm turning things over to Mandy because I'm making a mess of it. Mandy, correct this line of streaming.
I will do my best. So, Thad, thank you for being here with us tonight. Could you please share with us a short introduction about yourself so our viewers can get to know you a little better?
Yeah, so I'm Thad the Theme Park Giant. Lived in Iowa for the first 44 years of my life. Grew up coming to Disney almost every year. You know, we were a blue-collar family, but we didn't do anything extra, but we saved up every year to take a trip down to Disney World. We'd drive. We'd stay over in the Travel Lodge on 192 over by Old Town, and literally we took a cooler, we'd eat in the parking lot, that's how we could do it. And so, but my family loved coming to Disney World. And so it just got in my blood. I've always loved theme parks, and then just as time went on, you'll hear more about the roller coaster stuff. But and then eventually, I worked in the software industry for about 25 years. I was a software developer, various roles, all through tech lead, things like that. And I just got burnt out. I couldn't do it anymore. I got sick of corporate America. And so about 2.5 years ago, May of 2023, I quit my job. I sold my house, and I moved down here. And I've been trying to make it as a content creator for the last couple of years, full time. And it's kind of exciting right now because things have kind of turned the corner here recently. So we'll talk more about that. But so now I do live streams on YouTube 5 days a week, and absolutely love every day that I get to go to the theme parks, and I go to all the theme parks around Orlando. I love Disney World the most, but I love all the parks. So it's fun to me, because it never gets old. If I ever walk into Epcot and I don't have a smile on my face, it's time to pack it up, but that hasn't happened yet. So yeah.
Good deal.
Well, thank you for that. We all have a story kind of about how we found this Disney YouTube community. Can you share with us your journey?
Yeah, so, I watched YouTube for a few years, but I got my Disney news. I've been listening to Disney World podcasts since 2005. I'm a techie. I'm an early adopter to technical things. I was way ahead on the podcast game, but I used to listen to WDW Today, Inside the Magic. So that's how I would get my info, and I used YouTube for other things. And then during the pandemic, I was losing my mind up there in Iowa. And, when the parks reopened, I was just looking for any Disney content, something as an escape. And, I found Mr. Morrow and Super Enthused and PC Dev and some other Adam the Woo, and that was my escape. And so that got me into the Disney community, but I didn't really watch streamers. I was more of a vlogger, and that's what I originally moved down here to do. And then, like Pete mentioned, I randomly met Pete at Epcot. You know, it's a year ago next Sunday, Pete, that we met.
Next Sunday. Yep.
And I was coming off Guardians with some friends, and there's this guy. I had a Viking shirt on. They were playing on Monday night, so I was just hanging out at the parks that day. And I hear this guy, oh, Vikings, they're having a good year. And so I'll talk Vikings. And I start talking to Pete. He mentions he's in the YouTube game. And I'm like, oh, I am too. And so we had a really great conversation, hit it off, exchanged info. And like later that day, I got online. I was doing some stuff at home. And well, Pete was live streaming over at Epcot. And so I threw him on. And I'd never watched a streamer at the parks, really, outside of a couple times, but it never interested me. And so I hopped in the chat just to say like, oh, hey, Pete, great to meet you today, you know, and his chat was so like warm and welcoming. Like it was really cool. I could sense the community of it. And Pete, you know, remember, you know, he's like, hey, everybody check out Theme Park Giant, you know, and it was so cool. Like I started watching more of Pete's stuff. And like I dabbled with TikTok streaming the year before a little bit and had some success with it, but I didn't like vertical streaming. I wanted more horizontal. And you'll find more out about like my setup, but like, so just as time went on and I'd watch his shows and learn more about streamers and things, I started working on my stream setup because I was like, oh yeah, I kind of want to do this. And so eventually like it kind of worked its way into that, where in June I decided to go full-time streaming 5 days a week. So like, yeah, it's 6 months this week. And like, it's been quite an adventure. So yeah, that's how I ended up, you know, in the YouTube streaming community, completely by chance, just running into a guy who wanted to talk football. So it's a pretty crazy story from a year ago where I've ended up now.
Oh, we're glad you're here.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations on those 6 months, and be careful who you talk to in the parks.
Hey,
You never know what might happen.
I know, right?
Yeah. So no, but I'm forever thankful that Pete had that conversation. So
me too.
We're gonna hand this over to Jen for a couple additional questions.
Well, I want to take a moment and talk about your mom for a moment, and what an important role she plays in your life. I know her passing back in 2010 deeply impacted you. You've taken that loss, though, and turned it into a powerful drive to make a difference through the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. So could you share with us the story behind your mom's influence on your life and how you've been able to honor her through that work that you do today?
Yeah. So like both my parents loved coming to Disney. You know, my mom was a Disney fan. My dad liked coming to the parks. And so like that always, you know, that was always a big part of our family. And then she moved, they divorced. My mom ended up moving to the Villages eventually. So like, it was great because she was like an hour away from the park. So I had a free place to stay, had an annual pass all the time. You know, we'd come down, we'd go to the parks all the time. It was awesome. And then she got sick and like around 2008 or so, and they couldn't figure it out forever. She was in and out of like doctors. She had a surgery, and then they finally realized she had cancer, but they didn't really know what it was yet. She ended up beating it once, and then a few months later it came back, and in about 3 months she went from like totally normal to she was gone. And it ended up it was pancreatic cancer. And, you know, I didn't really know much about pancreatic cancer at the time. You know, we were completely shocked how quick it happened. So my sister and I decided, like, you know, we don't want other people to go through what we went through watching her just go downhill like that. And so we found this great organization called the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. One of the highest rated charities out there. Like I think 90% of the money goes towards research. Like there's no real overhead. So like that's what I always want. So I've done these. I do their 5K every year, and I raise money for it. And since since 2011, the first year I participated in it, I've got a great group of friends back all over the world, honestly, but like we raised $50,000 for the
That's
charity
awesome.
over those years.
Wow,
And
that's
so like
awesome.
that means a lot to me, that my friends have like taken up, and they donate every year. Like, I mean, we've had some massive numbers over the years. And yeah, we passed the 50,000 mark this past year, and that was like a huge deal. And it's been really crazy because I think the survival rate was 3%. The 5-year survival rate was 3% in 2010 when my mom passed, and it's up to, I believe, 10% now.
Wow.
And I feel like my friends and I have had an influence on that. We've helped with research and things like that. So it is a really important charity to me. And yeah, I mean, I'm and like I still feel like, well, like the day after my mom passed, we had the funeral arrangements and everything set up. So we actually came to the Magic Kingdom to like celebrate her, and like, and I remember like just I hadn't cried in years. Like I was just Mr. Tough Guy, whatever. And like I'm bawling on Main Street that day. But it's like a good memory because it was like we went and celebrated a mom's life at a place she loved. She loved the Magic Kingdom. We did all our favorite rides, and that's like one of my favorite memories ever. So I know that because my dad has passed also, but I know they'd both be loving that. Like they know how much I loved coming here. So like I think they'd be really excited about that I've come down here. They always knew I wanted to come to Orlando, and like I think they'd just be really proud of everything that I've been doing. But yeah, I feel both of their presences in the parks all the time. There's always memories, so like it's really cool that I get to live here now and always have those feelings. But yeah, that charity is really important to me. So
That's awesome. Jen, if I could jump in 1 second, Thad, when you
Yeah.
with whatever you decide to do this year, our moms are incredibly important. I'm lucky to still have my mom. I don't have my dad. We have so many great moms in our community. And when you do decide to do something this year, I would encourage you to let me know, and I will make sure that I push it over here on my end for you
all right,
to help you out.
absolutely
So, Jen?
appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
That was such an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. I know that wasn't easy, so thank you. We
Yeah.
appreciate that.
No.
I want to keep continuing the focus on positivity by talking to you about your success in transforming yourself into the person you wanted to become. Your personal competition with yourself, your drive, your discipline and determination to lose more than 180 pounds over the last few years is nothing short of remarkable. Can you share that journey with us and what that transformation has meant to you along the way?
Yeah, so I'd always been like a big guy, I was like chubby in high school, but never like super big, and then I went to college and I just like ballooned up. I think, but drinking may have had a biggest, part of that through college, and like, but like, yeah, I mean, and it just kind of continued because as I started to work, it's like I worked long hours in the software industry, and you're just eating fast food because you don't have time, and like, and I was going out partying on the weekends and things like that. But at one point, I weighed 445 pounds or so.
Wow.
And like, I mean, you think I'm a giant now, like you should have saw me then. And I think the big wake up call was like, I came to Disney and I couldn't fit on rides at Disney. And like, I'd quit riding roller coasters for years because I couldn't fit on them. And like, Disney was my escape. And then like, I remember getting booted off Space Mountain, and it was like, wow, that's a wake up call to me, because Disney's the most poo friendly place on earth, poo size friendly place you can find. So, and then I kind of I lost some weight, and then my mom passed, and then like kind of went into a depression again. But like about a year later, I decided, like, you know what? because my mom died when she was 61. So she didn't get to do a lot of her things she was planning on when she retired, and she didn't get to see some things. And so I was in my early 30s, and I'm like, you know what? I've been wanting to get out there and ride more roller coasters and stuff. So that was a big drive for it, because I wanted to ride roller coasters. So I signed up for this trip with a place called Theme Park Review. They were going to all these amusement parks on the East Coast I'd always wanted to go to, and all these coasters I wanted to ride. And so I lost quite a bit of weight to do that. And then for the next few years, I would balloon up over the winter. I would lose it so I could go on coaster trips in the summer. And then it was about 6.5 years ago. Yeah, when was that? It was 2019. I stopped drinking. And I'm 6 years sober now. October was my 6-year sobriety.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And just doing that, I'd lost like 40 pounds in a few months. Like, I hadn't done anything with I hadn't cut back on eating. And so I just decided, like, let's keep going with this, So I do intermittent fasting. If you watch my streams, I talk about it a lot, because everyone always, why aren't you eating the parks? Well, I only eat dinner. So it's easy for me to go around all day. I'm used to it. And I lost it slow and steady, because I used to do every ridiculous diet out there, crash diet, because I'm trying to lose all this weight for the spring and summer so I can get out. And I did it the right way, just losing a couple pounds a week. And it just kept snowballing and snowballing. And, I'm down, I think I was 257 the other day, which is, I weigh less now than I did when I graduated high school. I can actually wear shirts I had in high school now. It's kind of crazy, but it takes a lot of discipline, but I don't know, something finally clicked where it was like, it's time, and I'm 47 now. I'm in the best shape I've been in since I was 17. I feel so much better all the time. Mentally, I'm better. And that was a big part of it too. I've had some mental health issues, and I'd never been where I felt mentally healthy and physically healthy, but these last few years it's combined, and I finally feel like I'm at my best right now, and I'm still losing weight slowly, but still have some goals. But I'm really, it's amazing to me sometimes, because I still see the old me sometimes, when I look in the mirror and whatever. You never really get over that stuff, and I'll see pictures of myself, and it's so weird to me sometimes. And my friends, because I don't see my friends in Iowa, I go back once a year, and they'll be like, man, you lost more weight, because they don't see me all the time. And so it always catches me off guard when people are like, hey, skinny, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's taken a lot of discipline, but you can do it, and to me, everyone asks what was the trick? I counted calories. I eat less, I eat pizza, I eat cheeseburgers, I eat ice cream. I just account for it. And I've lost a lot of weight doing that. And and all I do is walk. I don't work out. I walk in the parks all the time, 6-7 miles a day when I stream, but
that's a lot.
You don't have to do these crazy crash diets. It is really just a matter of actually document what you eat and come up with a plan, and just know how many calories you can have. And so that's how I do it. So.
Love it.
I'm so proud of you. Those are such hard things. Such, demons that you have to fight, and you beat them. And I am so proud of you, because it is not easy. And I just want to say, I am proud of you. So proud of you. As I see a lot of people in the chat are, you want to go back and make sure you read a lot of the nice comments that people are leaving in the chat for you. Stephanie, have we had anyone else join the stream?
Wow, we have had a lot of people join the stream. So welcome in to Rob B. Law. Mr. Theo Sam Eagles here. Park Bros are here. Casey's Corner of the World. Miss Debbie Thunert. Tiki Man Fan Tim is here. Mr. Deadpool Media is here. Kay Wilby is with us. Not So Scary Mary TV. Welcome into Mike Towles. Welcome into Nanny Pooh Bear. and Miss April of Bouncin' Journey. We also have with us Wisconsin Badgers Clubhouse. Mr. Jeff Condon is here. And all the way across the pond, we've got Nick and Claire with us tonight.
Nice.
We've got Francisco. We've got Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. We've got Mr. Blake. All Aboard with Blake is here. We've got Mr. John A.B. We've got Whitney Freeze and Miss Tina Marie's place. So welcome in.
Everybody make sure you're hitting that like tonight. Help us out.
Okay, now we'll go over to Mandy.
Back to me. So your love and passion for roller coasters is truly incredible. And I think some stats behind that are like 17 countries, over 120 different theme parks and amusement parks, and more than 550 roller coasters. That's amazing. Could you talk a little bit about your passion behind roller coasters?
Yeah, so I don't know. From a young age, I was just infatuated with them. I'm pretty sure Big Thunder was my first roller coaster, and I hated it. I was terrified of them. But I loved to watch them. And I used to draw them in my notebooks at school, like my favorite coasters, and I'd try to design my own. And then I was still even pretty scared of the big ones until I was about 15 or 16. But when I talked my family into going to Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio in 1994. So I would have been 16 then. And so they're like, all right, we'll go, And I remember I wasn't riding like the big ones. I didn't do Magnum, which was the biggest in the world at the time. I didn't do Mean Streak, like this big wooden one. And I remember I was sitting on a bench with my mom while the rest of my family was riding this one big ride. And she looked at me because we'd driven all night from Iowa to get there. And my mom's exhausted. We're going to be there like 2 or 3 days. And she looked at me and she goes, there was a brand new ride that year called Raptor, which is like a inverted coaster. It hangs under the tracks. And at the time, that was the biggest, fastest inverted in the world. And she said, if you don't ride Raptor before the end of the weekend, we will never go to another amusement park. We only come to these like coaster parks for you, and then you don't ride the big ones. And like the rest of my family loved them too, but like she was like, I'm done doing like stuff like this because if you're going to sit here on a park bench, we're not going to do it. So the last night of our trip, we waited 2.5 hours in the heat of July in Ohio and absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. And that just like flipped the switch even more to where it was like, okay, my sister and I used to go to Cedar Point every year. Like we had a yearly trip, just the two of us. And then as the internet was growing in the 90s, well, the internet, it's very different. I used to read it was called the Rec.Roller Coaster. So there used to be things called news groups. These were text-based only message boards where people would talk about roller coasters. This is before the web. So like this is how nerdy I am. But like I used to find out about all these different roller coasters and stuff. So like I've always had this bucket list of where I wanted to go. And then when I was talking about that theme park review trip I signed up for, that was really the first like, okay, I'm old enough now, I've got more money, I can travel. And so I did that trip and it was amazing. Like all these bucket list parks and coasters I got to do. And then I made a ton of friends in the community doing it. And so I did a few more trips with them. Like I went to Europe, I went to Scandinavia, I went to Japan with them. We did all these parks and like I've done 557 different roller coasters. I absolutely love them. And like I've got friends that are like 2,500. So like I'm nobody in like the coaster world. Like you guys all think I'm crazy, and like my friends look at me like, oh, Thad, he's not like us. But like, but yeah, I just got addicted to it. And then I mean, that's what I love about Orlando. Disney World's always gonna be my favorite. Like that's where I grew up. I've been here a million times before I moved here. But like I love SeaWorld. They've got great coasters. I love Busch Gardens. I love Universal. So like I go to all those places And with my streaming setup, I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that actually streams and rides the big coasters at Busch Gardens and SeaWorld live. So like, I wanted to be able to do that when I streamed because I love coasters so much, you know, and I want to go to those parks and like show people like there's other parks out there, you know, and there's a lot of, and then, you know, I've got the Scaredy Cats of Fun in my chat. Like it's a joke. Like, so like they love it because they're like, oh, I would have never known about these roller coasters and I'd never ride these. So I get to go with you. But yeah, I'm just completely obsessed with them. You know, when the Liberty Bell was still open, I rode it every day when I was over at Magic Kingdom so I could see Big Thunder's construction progress. And I'd explain to people like, oh, this is where they're at in the process, explaining what envelope clearance testing is. So when you put your hands up, you don't hit the rocks or whatever. And so like people like that nerdy side of things because like a lot of people don't know that stuff in the Disney community. So it's kind of like my niche, you know, but I also love Disney World. So like it works really well. But yeah,
Awesome.
I love roller coasters. I'm going to ride them as long as my body lets me. So
love it.
Yeah. And now at this age, I'm part of that Scaredy Cats club. 20 years ago was a different story. So I'm glad there are people like you that I can watch it and not have to actually do it. So, but we're going to transition here kind of and talk about your move to Orlando. And it really wasn't that long ago, but I hear there's a really special story behind it. And it kind of ties back to the roller coaster trips you used to take with Theme Park Review, which I understand played a major influence in your decision to relocate. So would you mind sharing with us that story?
Yeah. So yeah, like I mentioned, I did a lot of trips with Theme Park Review. I'm no longer affiliated with them. You know, it's been a few years. But so Theme Park Review has like over 2 million subscribers on YouTube, and I consider Theme Park Review like the godfather of like coaster content, like on YouTube, because they've been around since YouTube started. Billions of views. Like they were the go-to place for a long time, and so I got to know the owners really well, you know, and we were in a park in Denmark the one time. And so on these trips, you get these things called exclusive ride time. So like our 100 people on that trip, they'd open the park 2 hours early for us. Like I remember this park and there were like 5 coasters there and they're like, just ride them. So like you can ride and ride and ride all day, you know, before the park opens. Wow. And so I was just being silly the one morning on this one ride because I'd ridden it like 6 times. So like I was just being dumb. I was making up fake coaster facts while I was on the ride. And one of the owners was in front of me and she was dying laughing. And so she got off and she told her husband, she's like, you got to put the camera on Thad and have him do this for a video. So there's this video of me making up fake coaster stats on the fly as I'm getting launched around. You know, my hand hits a tree because in Europe things are very different. Like you have to be aware. Yeah. But like but this video. So somehow this company. So if you ever watch like Travel Channel and stuff, they always have a lot of coaster shows and amusement park shows in the summer and stuff. Well, someone reached out to me. She was the executive producer for that company that created all those shows. And she'd written me on Facebook Messenger in 2016 saying, hey, we saw this video of you. We love you. We would like to talk about building a show around you as the main person where you go around and ride coasters and take us to different parks. And it's like, I mean, that was my dream. Like, and so now, remember, she sent that to me in 2016. Mm-hmm. That sat in a junk folder on Facebook Messenger until 2021 because I didn't know there was a junk folder.
Oh.
On Messenger. So I just found it this one morning. And the irony was I was feeling so burnt out with my life and my career. And I read it and I was just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Like, so like I messaged the woman and she'd left the industry, like didn't even write me back. But I looked her up. It was all legit. And this was the company that like did it. And so it was it was super frustrating because I'm like, oh man, that would have been my dream job. But at the same time, it gave me that like idea of, hey, if they think I've got something, maybe I do have something, because I'd been thinking about trying the YouTube thing out. So
Right.
I dabbled with it on a couple of my coaster trips that summer, made some vlogs, and actually did okay, for a guy with no subscribers and stuff, like a couple thousand views on them, and like they did pretty well. And I enjoyed making them. So I just got really burnt out during COVID, and my dad passed like right after we went back to work, and I didn't want to return to office. I liked working from home, and it was just like, I'm sick of the corporate world. So yeah, that was the big trigger for me that started the whole thought process where, yeah, I sold my house. I sold like 70 of my Jordans. I used to have a huge Air Jordan collection.
Wow.
And just have been living off that money here for the last 2.5 years. And, I wanted to make it work. But yeah, it's like the craziest story, because I always wonder what could have been. But at the same time, like, it's one of the reasons I'm here. So it kind of worked out in the long run. But yeah, I'll always wonder, like, man, could I have had a show or something? That would have been pretty cool. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
That would have been awesome, but guess what? Some things happen for a reason, and you have a show today. So
Yep.
this just took a little bit longer. So.
That's right. And I have full creative control. So
Yes.
even though.
So I'm going to hand it over to Steph so that we can talk about the beverage of the week.
Yes. Alrighty. Before we do that, I want to say hello to some more people in chat. So welcome into Robert Sprite. Welcome into Ryan Rowe. Welcome into Spaceship Ears, because I think I might have skipped him earlier. It was not intentional. Also, welcome into Mary on the Move. Art by Nemad. Welcome into Jacob Farnsworth and Dizney with Matthew.
Welcome in. Awesome.
All right, so this is the time of our show where we talk about our beverage of the week. We let you guys choose something from the parks that you enjoy and want to share with all of us. So today we're going to talk about your drink, which is called the Vanilla Sweet Cream Iced Coffee at Starbucks. Would you mind telling us a little bit about this drink and why you chose it?
So first of all, I gave Pete, I already told Pete that's not actually the drink. Mine's just like a iced coffee with like vanilla. I don't know what that is, but so I normally just drink water in the parks because I don't drink alcohol anymore. I could have given you a list 6 years ago of my drink around the world options, but if I do want a drink, it usually does end up being some iced coffee while I'm out there. So I end up at Starbucks and I'll grab one of those. But I love a lot of cream in my coffee, so that one, it just works perfectly, and it's just a nice, refreshing, delicious way to get some caffeine in my body some days when I need it. So, but yeah, normally I'm a water guy, but if I do drink anything, it's going to be that.
Hey, you got to stay awake for sure, right? You definitely have to stay awake.
Steph,
so,
are you a Starbucks
ladies
girl? Are you a Starbucks girl, Steph?
Am I? Yeah, I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love Starbucks. Yep.
I'll be curious if the other ladies are. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So definitely I would drink that for sure, because I pretty much drink it every day. Although I'm weaning myself from the cream. So I'm not totally, but just a little. I used to have a lot, and now I'm trying to get rid of the sugar. So anyway, trying. But anyways, we'll start with Mandy. Are you a coffee person?
Yes, you had me with coffee. I had to switch to decaf a couple years ago, but I know, sad, but bad things happen with caffeine. So, but you had me with coffee. I would try it.
Hey, how about you, Jen?
Yeah, I'm not a Starbucks coffee person, but I'm definitely a coffee person, and I'm definitely a person where the proportion of coffee to creamer is yeah, this much coffee, this much creamer.
Yep.
That used to be me. Yep. All right, Miss Dame, how about you?
I am not a big caffeine drinker. I had to stop that back in law school. The body did not handle it well. So I do enjoy Starbucks, but I usually get like the refreshers. And I do like the iced chais, those kind of the teas. I'll do those.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And Peter, do you drink coffee at all?
Never had a coffee.
Nope.
Nope.
Coke
Never
guy?
had it. Never had a coffee.
You get your caffeine from soda?
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit here and there. But yeah, that's where I get my caffeine. But definitely not a coffee drinker. But maybe someday. Everybody's always talking about whipped cream on top of the mocha or something. I don't know. A whole bunch of stuff when they order. You know.
There's a lot of
I
good
don't like that
choices.
stuff. I'm a pure coffee and cream guy. Like, I don't need an ice cream sundae in the morning.
Yeah, I like going there. Give me the whip and two dogs over and under and lick the frog and do something and all kind of stuff. And I don't even understand all that. All right, I think we're going into trivia here for a minute, which is good. Everybody, make sure, again, our guest links have been in the chat throughout the night. Mods are doing a great job with that. Please make sure, if you're having fun tonight, to give him a follow. He's doing a great job on his streams over there. The ladies have all of their Instas have been put in the chat throughout the night. They're also in the description of the video. You can give them a follow on Insta at any point. And, of course, follow our Insta for the Triple C Show and give us a sub over here if it's your first time in. We've been doing trivia tonight, then. And we've been doing Figment. I don't know. How many of those, did you get any of the ones right earlier?
Oh, I knew them all. Yep.
Did you cheat on all of them? Google?
Nope. I know Figment pretty well.
Okay. I saw you back there.
I even knew the Magnum PI thing because that's actually the first time the word Figment was ever used.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I had no idea about that. Yep. That's pretty cool. All right.
Yep.
How many different actors have provided the voice for Figment?
Oh,
I know everything about Figment. Is the answer A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, D, 4, or E, it's just Fran Tarkenton?
I'm going to say 2 because I think they're pretty distinctively different in the new ride versus the old ride. But what I'm worried about is he had like a couple of cartoons and stuff, but so I'm not sure.
He did have a couple cartoons and stuff. Which we did know. And to you, we say, we get booed off the own show. There you go. The answer, and I have no idea who all three were. You probably know more of me than this. Was 3, C. And it's probably because of one of the cartoons. Probably had a different character on that one. So kind of interesting. Dina Turkey Legster, hello. Yeah. Welcome in. So, all right, cool. I love the trivia, and I love that it tied in with that. And you got 4 out of 5 tonight, so you still did way better than me. I would have gotten 1. I would have got the Sherman Brothers. Probably that's the only one I would have gotten. So, all right. Sherman Brothers do a lot of good stuff. Let's go into the back half of the questions here. And Miss Dame, it's yours. We're 16 likes from 100. Let's hit it up. Miss Dame, take over.
So, speaking of figments of imagination, can you share how you find inspiration in your creative process, especially since so much of your content is built around fun, and how you approach it so that your viewers, including myself, can experience a genuine, natural day in the parks?
Yeah, so, when I first got into the streaming, so I'm very analytical. I'm very data driven. My last job in IT was on a data analytics team. So like I'm obsessed with going into YouTube Studio and looking at the analytics. And when I first started to do things, it was like, well, at 2:00, people want the parade, you'll get views doing that and like things like this. And so I felt like a robot sometimes kind of going around when I was like starting to find my niche with streaming. But I don't really like the daytime parade at the Magic Kingdom. I never make time to watch it. I'd never seen the Festival of Fantasy parade till I started streaming. And I've lived down here for, 2 years. But it just isn't my thing. And so one day I just decided like, why am I standing here for 20, 30 minutes in the heat for something I don't like just to get a few more views? And I kind of changed my whole thought process of like, and like I was trying to find like what time I want to stream and all this stuff, And so I was trying afternoon and night because, there are more viewers typically, but I've always been a rope drop guy. And like, I'm a planner and I like to, if you watch me go around the parks, you see like the gears turning of like, which ride should I hit now to have, because I don't like to stand in line either. So if you watch me, I'm going to get on as many rides as I can before the crowds show up. And, and throughout the day, then I'll mix in shows. I love live musical performances. I love Casey's Corner. I love like Nola's Eighth Note over at the Magic Kingdom is an amazing group. So I just decided like my streams should just be, if you were hanging out with me in the park and I didn't have a camera, you wouldn't know the difference. So like I was talking to Lawrence Park Rose the other day, and I said, you've hung out with me, I'm no different on camera than I am. So like my whole goal is if I'm having fun, I feel like the stream's having fun. Now, I may not ride some people's favorite rides. I don't ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because it's painful for me. I'm just not going to do it. But like, I think, and I genuinely have fun every day I go, and I love the rides. They do not get old for me. And I think that comes off, when people watch, because that's what I love about live streaming. You can't fake it. I felt fake doing vlogs. I felt fake doing produced content where it's like, I'm going to turn the camera on for 30 seconds. I got to be this big character and whatever. And like, I'm a character and whatever, but I'm kind of subdued, I'm sarcastic and dry with my humor and whatever, but like, I'm not this big force of nature on camera either, where I think I just want people to feel like they're hanging out with me, And like the other day we had, 700 people watching my stream, and whatever ride I was getting on, they asked, so how many, I said 1. And someone in my chat said, do you have a seat for 701 people or something? And it's like, that's how I feel. Cause like, I love that, I have older viewers who can't travel anymore, but they love the parks. I have disabled people who may, I have people from all over the world watch, and they say, I may never get to Disney World. So thank you so much for taking us. And like, and I love the parks so much that I love to just show them off. And like, and I think that comes through. Like, that's my whole creative process. Like, there's times I'll look and like, I'll see the drop because I'll go watch some show or whatever, but it's like, no, I don't care. Then they're not for my channel if they don't want to sit there and watch that. That's how I look at it. Because my whole goal has been to build a community. From day one, I wanted to build a community, and like, I feel like we have. And, like I was joking with my mods earlier tonight in our mod chat. I was like, man, my mods are so weird. How did that happen? Because we all just make these weird jokes, and it's like, well, I surrounded myself with people that are like me, and I'm a weirdo and whatever. But I think people have fun watching the streams. I think we have a lot of banter going back and forth. I greet everyone that comes in. I chat with the chat. Like, to me, that's what it's all about. I want to feel like people are hanging out with me, because
absolutely,
I could walk around and like talk and like not talk to my chat and whatever, but like, to me, that's not what I want. And it's nice to see the community has kind of taken on to that.
Well, speaking of weirdos, and I'm sorry about cakes in advance, but back to the theme of inspiration and influences. Can you talk about how people in and around the Disney YouTube community have played a role in some of that, along with like whatever motivation you have that has driven you to where you are today, and how that kind of helps shape the goals that kind of you set for your own channel?
Yeah. So like, one of the biggest influences for me to even consider doing this, it was Mr. Morrow, Nate. I found his streams, and I remember, or his vlogs and stuff. And I remember, like, I told my sister, I'm like, this guy's kind of a goofball, like, he's kind of corny or whatever, and like, she started watching him, and then we'd talk on the phone and be like, did you see what he did today and whatever? He's like, he's just such a goofball. But like, after a while, it's like, but that's who he is. And like, you can tell he loves the parks, and it comes through if you've watched his stuff. And he just seems so genuine. And like, I love that about him. And I actually I got to meet him once. I've only met him once in the parks, but a couple years ago, the first night of the Christmas party, I ran into him, and I went over to him, and it's the only time I've ever fanboyed to like a content creator, but I just said like, hey, I moved down here a few months ago, I told him the whole story you guys have heard, how I quit my job and I'm doing this. And I said like, and you are the biggest, you're my favorite, content creator. You're a huge influence on why I did this. And he could not have been more genuine. We had like a 10-minute conversation. He was asking me questions about my channel, how it was going, and you can tell when someone's being fake. And like, you could tell he was genuinely interested in the conversation, took time, he's a busy guy. And then like later that night, we were waiting for the parade, and him and his friends were actually across the street on Main Street. And every 2 minutes, a family would come up and talk to him, and he'd stop what he was doing and he gave them full attention. And like, I just watched that, and it was like, because I've been around other content creators and they're not that way with their fans. And like, that's always bothered me when people are like that, because you don't have a channel without the fans. And then to end that night, and this is hours and hours later, Teresa and I were waiting, my sister and I were waiting. She wanted to get a picture with the topiaries out front. When Nate and Kristen right down Main Street were walking out, and he saw me and he walked over and he talked to me for like another 5 minutes. He's like, hey, how'd the night go? What was your favorite thing? So I just thought like, he didn't have to do that, and I just thought that was so cool. So he's been a huge influence on me, even though I don't do the vlogs anymore. I've talked about Pete. Pete's been a huge influence. His community has been super supportive. I wouldn't be doing this, if I wouldn't have met Pete. And then like John from Fun to Be Free, I have to mention him. He was a huge mentor to me when I first started doing this. He helped me with my technical questions, because I do have a very technical setup, and he had a very similar one at the time. He was the only person that had cracked the code on how to use the Pocket 3 camera to stream with. And that's what I wanted to do. And he had the banner overlays. So like, I was like this close. And so he was on Pete's show the one night, and I looked at, and I just really enjoyed it. And then I started watching him, and I'm like, this guy's doing what I want. Well, I became part of John's community, and he would answer my questions in the chat that I had. And then I actually went and met him at Epcot one day when he was over there, and he took hours to sit there and answer my questions. Like, gave me everything, and amazing. And like, we would stream together, he helped me a lot with like, just dealing with some of that stuff, taught me some things about SEO and analytics, things to look for. So I have to call him out. And then Park Bros, Lawrence, created the Disney Streamer Network right when I was getting into this stuff. And he invited me in. I'd only done like a couple test streams, but he invited me in, and like being able to network with other creators and, talk about issues and things like that. It's been amazing. And the support I get from people in that community, they started to watch my channel, and then people offered to mod because I needed mods, and they've been a huge part of my communities. And like Lawrence and I become really good friends. But I got to credit him with, founding the whole Disney Streamer Network, because it really has been a great resource for us. And I've got all these now too, because one thing when I moved down here, the first 2 years doing vlogs, I didn't meet anybody. It was tough. And I'm used to having a decent amount of friends in my life. And so that was a really tough thing. So like, it's nice now because I actually have friends in the area that, I'm going to see a lot of people on Saturday. I can't wait. It's going to be great. So yeah, those are like the 4 big influences on me. So yeah.
Very nice.
Did you check your car battery just so that you can make it on Saturday?
Did you watch that game yesterday?
I did.
Did
you see what happened today? See what happened today?
I still got in, yeah. Yep, I did see that. Dame's a huge Vols fan, guys. Don't let her fool you.
We're going over to Steph real quick, because I know we got to say hi to somebody.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here real quick, and we want to welcome Dean the Turkey Legster. We want to say hello to Matthew Kent, Festive Shelby, Mouse Talk Walt, and we've got Nice Work Pal. joining us tonight. So thanks for coming in.
Nice. Jen, take the wheel.
Okay, so as a live streamer, you're in the parks capturing moments as they happen. Can you share a few magical or unexpected moments that really stood out to you? Those memorable experiences that surprised you or maybe touched you, and you'd love to share with everyone tonight.
Yeah, so I've had a few like really cool moments. The one, there's three I can think of. Like, I was over at Tower of Terror the one day, and one of the bellhops, who was like the last person before you board, his name was Mello. He's from the Bronx. I'll never forget this, but like, he saw I had a camera, and he's like, he looks and he's like, "Hey, we're on YouTube, watch the vlog, everybody." And I'm like, "You're actually live right now." So he was like, "Oh," so he's like hamming it up, and like, we were playing off of each other. And so like, before I boarded, I like to give cast compliments. So I said like, "Oh, can we see your tag?" And like, a bunch of people from my community went on, gave him a cast compliment. And so I'd never really been pixie dusted. As many times I've been to parks over my life. And so the ride gets over and the door opens up, and I'm walking off, and one of the bellhops comes up and goes, "Would you like to ride again?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I would," And so they took me up like the back elevator, and they said like, "Oh yeah, Mello called down and said the guy with the camera's got to come back. He deserves another ride." So like a super cool moment. And then another one? I've got a friend. He's a cast member over at Hollywood Studios. I can't think of the term, but he's in management, but he kind of runs like Toy Story Land on a daily basis. He had a horrible car accident a couple months ago. Horrible. Lucky to be alive. Just got out of the hospital last week. He'd been in there 2 months. He ended up in my stream the one day because he wasn't doing rehab that morning, and I was at Hollywood Studios. So he was like, "Go to Toy Story Land. I want to see my toys." He's in the chat. So we were walking around, and I'm going up to cast members, and like, I never put cast members on the camera, like, to start with. Like, I'm big on like, I don't put guests on, I don't put cast members on. If we start to talk, then I'll say like, "Do you mind being on?" or whatever. But I still think cast members still deserve like some privacy. But I was going up to him like, "Hey, I'm friends with Danon, he's in my live stream community right now, and he told me I have to come say hi to you." And like, they were also like, because he loves his team, they love him, and like, some of them were like tearing up because they hadn't seen him in a couple months. They're also worried about him. So like, Slinky was a 70-minute wait, and they're like, "You're going. If you want to ride, you're going on." So they pixie dusted me, which is funny because every time I see Danon in the park, I always go talk to him, and he always whispers like, "I can't pixie dust you unless you turn the camera off." And I'm like, "It's fine, man." So the irony that his team pixie dusted me instead of him, like, I love that day. It was so cool. And then the biggest thing lately, so I do something called the half and half gift away on Fridays. And I got to shout out a guy, Explore Orlando, on TikTok. Become friends with him. I see him in the parks. We've just gotten to know each other. And I was watching him one day when I was home, and he does something, he calls it the 50-50, where any donation he gets, he takes 50%, he buys gifts, and then he gives them out to random park guests just to spread a little magic. So like, in his stream the one day, I'm like, "Jared, do you mind?" I said, "That's such a cool idea. I love it." I said, "Do you mind if I borrow that?" Because I never want to steal someone's thing. I'm always going to ask for permission. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I know you're a good dude, absolutely, spread some magic." And so we've been doing it about 2 months now. And like, I never put the people on, because I usually buy, it's usually plushies for kids, or like, I'll buy ears, if kids are looking at ears. But I always approach people. I have the camera away. I always say, "I'm not going to put you on, unless you want to, but I promise there's no ulterior motive here. We just want the community donates." And it has been some of the coolest moments, like, in my life, honestly, because like, you're spreading magic at like my favorite place. So yeah, I mean, I feel creepy walking around like my chat always jokes, he's stalking his prey now. Like, they always make me sound creepy, like, oh, security's the giant code, giants here, keep your eye on him. But like, I've had some genuinely amazing moments, with guests. Like 2 weeks ago, I think it was a single mom, and I just approached her. Her son was looking at a Donald Duck plushie, and I just said, and I explained it all, and she was just like, "Are you serious? Oh yeah, that's awesome." Like, and when I came back, she's like, "Is it weird if I give you a hug?" And I'm like, "No, that's cool." So like, but we've had some really, really cool interactions.
Very
And a
nice.
lot of times they never see my audience never sees the family, never sees the kids. And then sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, we'll go on," and that's when the kids are smiling, waving with their toy, now. So that it's awesome. And like, it's become a really big part of the community, throughout the week. We keep track of the fun, and so it's just an awesome way to end the stream every week. Like, I'm getting like kind of emotional about it because it really is awesome.
Love it. Love it.
It's
I
truly
love
better
watching
to
them.
give than receive, because you get the blessings
Yep.
back,
Yep.
as well as you can feel in your heart. So we're heading into the final segment now, and we like to ask our enhancers and creators of the community to share some of the content that they love. So we've asked you to talk about a channel suggestion that you would like to talk about tonight. And we're going to talk about paging Mr. Morrow. Do you mind giving us a little insight on why you chose this stream and what you like about it?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Mr. Morrow, already. I just think he's an amazing guy, and I know he's like huge already, and pretty much everybody probably knows him, and I mean, he's like officially working with Disney now, which I just think is like the coolest thing, like that. Because it's like, there's like the meme of like, we made the right guy famous, like you'll hear that a lot. And like, I truly feel like we made the right guy famous. I feel like he truly appreciates everything he gets. And I just love, I don't get to watch him as much anymore because I don't have as much time, but like, I still tell people like, oh, you got to watch him, because like, he shows the magic of the parks more than like just about anybody. And like, you just see the happiness it brings them, and that's like what I want to try to do as well, and I hope that comes through on my streams. But yeah, I just think he's such an awesome guy. Yeah,
Good call out.
Very good. And do we want to talk about Visit the Magic Travel Channel?
Let me just jump in here for a sec, Steph, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
One of the things we always try to do is we stay passionate and loyal to the guests that are here, and we don't do a lot of promotion on this channel because we want to be fair to everybody. But we will assist a creator when they come on with us as our guest. And Thad is a part of this, and I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about this tonight. So Thad, if you would.
Yeah. So back in the spring, one of my friends from college, fraternity brother, reached out to me and said like, "Hey," because I'd been talking about like, I said on Facebook like, man, I might need to find like a second source of income because like I wasn't making much money yet on YouTube, and like, you gotta pay the bills. And so he said, "Oh, my sister owns this travel company," and ironically, my sister and I had used her years ago. My sister planned a trip, and she's like, "I'm going to just try a travel advisor," because we always planned our own stuff. She's like, "I just want to see how it works," And so I was like, "Oh yeah, we used Nicole before." So I reached out to her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I know all about you. Dana talks about you all the time." And so like, she brought me on because she was looking. She didn't want to do like the parks anymore. Like, she's more cruises and other things. She doesn't want to book the theme parks as much because she doesn't come as much. And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right up my alley." I've helped dozens of friends over the years plan their trips, so why not get into this? And so like, right when I started it was when I also the streaming, and like, and I told her, I'm like, "I know I just started, but like, I need to kind of back off for a couple months here because I need to build the channel." And I walked her through my process of like, the channel is going to play well with the travel agency, because if people trust me and they see that I am like an expert on this stuff, they'll feel good like working with me. And so now the last few weeks I've been starting to promote it more again, and I've actually been getting people reaching out more to get quotes. And so like the business is like starting to play really nicely with the channel. So so it's really exciting right now. There's a lot going on, and I love helping people plan their trips, because I've got a million suggestions on what you should do while you're down here. So
Love it.
yeah, I appreciate you like advertising that, but yeah, visit the Magic Travel.
And we did drop the link into the chat if you'd like to check it out over there, everybody, or if you're watching on the replay. Let's go back to Miss Dame.
Can I jump in one last time to say hello
ma'am.
to
Real
some
quick.
folks? Okay, real quick. Hi to the Big Ben Theory, Debbie F. Cook, Music and Theme Parks World, and Yoo-hoo! Welcome in.
Great job, Steph. Miss Dame?
So I get the pleasure of doing the show recap tonight, and we've had an amazing show tonight, learning all about TPG, Thad. And here's some of the highlights. Tonight, Thad shared touching and heartfelt moments from his life, reflecting on the incredible influence of his mom. And thank you so much for sharing that story. That touched a lot of us. And he also opened up about the life-changing journey that ultimately led him to move to Orlando, and we're grateful for that as well. His story filled us with so much inspiration, and we appreciate you sharing that with us. Listening to you speak about your passion for coasters and the incredible travel that's led you to, let me make sure I got this right, 120 theme parks with more than 550 coaster experiences on purpose.
Yep.
It's truly stunning. But hearing the story behind your decision to relocate and how those journeys shaped that choice shows us just how incredible and special and dedicated you are. And tonight reminds us that your passion runs far deeper than the rides themselves.
Yep.
That spoke with real passion this evening about his inspirations and influences he draws from the people within the Disney community, with a special tip of the hat to Mr. Nate. He shared how that energy fuels his creative process and drives both him and his channel forward for continued success. And it was truly touching to hear about the memorable experiences that's had in the parks, as well as the moments behind his half and half giveaway, which I love. And the magical moments that creates. Hearing how these memories and acts of kindness come together to brighten the community made this evening even more special.
Yes, it did.
Truly. And I encourage everyone to leave a comment on the show with your thoughts about that and the content and the show. So thank you, Thad, for being here. We appreciate it. And I mean that sincerely.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. And yes, I guess I mean that too, Dame. No.
We will we'll do a final thought in just a minute. I think we're going to talk about next week, right? I believe.
Yes. And I've got the pleasure to kind of talk about what's coming up for us in the near future. So we wanted to let everybody know that there actually won't be a show next week, as the majority of the Triple C team will be down in Disney celebrating both the Night of Hope and Pete's meetup. So very excited for that.
Yep.
But the Triple C show will return on December 21st.
You just made the list.
Nope. Let
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you for a minute. We're not doing the guests that you're about to announce. It's a surprise to you, ladies. Moments before the show, I changed the creator. I made an adjustment and did what I had to do. So we actually have a different creator. We are actually bringing in Miss Katie Phillips from KT Design and Crafts next week as a surprise. And that is happening, which I'm excited about because, as you just mentioned, we do have a meetup next Saturday night, which many of you will be at. Many of you that wanted to come down, many of you that we'll get into a car and come those from Ohio and Alabama that won't. But it's going to be a great time down there in the Springs. And I'm excited about it. And we're going to have bracelets that are sponsored from Katie's company, and they will say the Clubhouse crew, and we'll be giving those out to everybody that comes to the event. And we also have another little giveaway. It's a nice magnet that we've created with the event logo and all that we'll be giving away to everybody. So I'm excited. Kate, sorry, ladies, had to surprise you with it. Next week's guests, or 2 weeks from now, coming in will be Katie Phillips, everybody. And if you want to get to know her and have some fun, it's going to be a great thing. I also want to remind everybody of a couple things here real quick, that for this upcoming shows that we have, first, to say thank you to our friend, and we're going to do a final thought in just a minute. A great guest. We got to learn a lot about him tonight. The ladies did an amazing job, and some touching stories and a lot of fun. And I can't wait. I'm excited for those who are watching the replay and to see their comments that they do. I want to remind everybody that you can keep up with our good friend over on his YouTube channel, which is approaching. He's not far from that 5K run to the 10K run, and keeping moving from that. He's strong doing his Instagram thing. You can keep up over there, and of course also on his TikTok, and I would encourage everybody to do that. If you're in here tonight, of course you can keep up with the Triple C's. Jen does an excellent job of keeping up with this. It's a way you can keep up with everything going on in the show, and we would love for you to do that. You can follow this show on our podcast right here on YouTube. We're working on some other things with that also, but right here on YouTube, you can listen to all the creators, and we have interviewed some incredible ones on here, well over 100 plus shows. And just a reminder that tonight I will be live at 10:45, maybe 11. 10:45 is the scheduled time. Might take a few minutes later as we do the football game, but tonight we will be doing Insomniacs, and it will be a ton of fun to sit and talk. Tonight we're going to talk about next week. We'll talk about the meetup a little bit more in depth. And all that that we're excited about doing. And I'm just curious here. I just saw something. Hold on one sec. Now I got to check this real quick. Well, I see that Scooter Adventures is in the chat. So we had this set up as a surprise for Thad, who's good friends with Scooter Adventures, to drop this right into his channel. And that's not going to happen because he's not live anymore. So unfortunately, when this stream ends, it's not going to take you anywhere. It was originally going to take you there. But we can tell you that Barry Place, or the Mary Place, is live. If one of the moderators wants to drop the link and you want to go in, I can't get into the system to change everything now because I had it all set up to drop right into Scooter and to do something for Thad as a thank you for you. And Mike, Scooter's a good guy. I didn't mind to do that. So there you go. Final thought of the night. We'll go to the ladies first. Ladies, we'll start with Miss Steph. She did a great job on chat, and we'll go right to left tonight.
All righty. So Thad, thank you so much for being with us tonight and gracing us with your presence. I know you talked a lot about a lot of other creators helping you, but some little birdies have been talking about that you're very humble and that you also are someone who would sit down for hours and talk with somebody else and teach them how to do it. So, this time of year, talking about giving is such a great thing. And I'm happy to know you because you are truly a giver and we appreciate you. So thanks.
Well said. Let's go to Mandy Mary as I try to challenge myself.
Don't hurt yourself, Pete.
I don't know if I could pull it. I don't know if I could pull this off. I'm trying.
Thad, thank you for being here with us tonight. It was amazing to get to know you even a little bit more than the person that you show on screen. You're totally an open book, and I thank you for that. Everyone has challenges and opportunities in their life, and it's what we do with those that really kind of makes that person and makes them extra special. So anybody in my book that talks about those challenges, talks about those mental health issues, it just has an amazing spirit and soul and is just willing to take those opportunities and those wounds that may or may not ever heal and do good with them. So
very well.
Thank you for everything that you do.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Very well said. Jen?
Thad, All I have to say is anybody who shouts out Cedar Point is number one in my book. Talking about being there in July of 94, I like perked up. I'm like, I know I was there in July in 94. So our paths might have crossed back
You
then
were
and
probably
not known
standing
it.
next to a very scared teenager in the Raptor line or something.
No, I was probably in line for the Magnum, to be honest. But anyways,
Ooh.
I was a little bit older though. So, but you know what? It is such a great opportunity that we have on the show to be able to get to know you behind the camera. You're not going to sit there and talk about a lot of these things during your streams. You're just not, you know. But to have this opportunity, this outlet for us to get to know you on a different level, I think just adds value to your channel, to your personality, and it makes people want to watch you even more now that they know your story. They feel like they know you. And I can't wait to see you next week. So I just wanted to throw that in as well. Everybody come to the meetup Saturday, 11 a.m., Disney Springs.
There you go.
Yep. I'll check that car battery before Saturday. So
there you go,
Thank
Dave.
Please.
Pete, in my defense, we're in the middle of Nutcracker season, which is why I can't come down next weekend. So there's that.
Listen, whatever you do in your private life, I don't know about that. We just want to come down there. Go ahead.
We'll talk about Nutcrackers in the after show then.
There you go.
But, hey, Thad, you know, you and I have this special banter that we get to share during the weeks when I'm able to chat, and I really do enjoy it because, I mean, you get my sense of humor, and I hopefully get your sense of humor. But I have really enjoyed getting to learn more about your backstory, your background, and sharing those things. And like I said earlier, you know, you shared some very special moments that several of us have experienced on different levels, and those aren't easy. And that you openly talked about it might be helpful and beneficial to other people down the road. And I really have been recently enjoying getting to watch you do the Friday half and half giveaway thing. Even though you are kind of creepy about it sometimes. I'm kidding.
everything I do is kind of creepy, Dame. So,
but I really support and appreciate that. And I've got a little something saved up that I'll be sending your way to help you out with that down the road. And
awesome.
So, Merry Christmas, and just make sure your car battery's charged.
Well done.
Absolutely.
Well done. Thad, I'll throw it over to you. Throw it over to you for final thought.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, my community will be very upset if I don't show Miss Barkley over here. She's a big part of the community. Like, we have an emote in the chat and everything for her, but she's snoozing away over here. But people are used to seeing her on my members only stream every month, sleeping behind me. But had to get her in there, especially Jim Wilson. I know he's in here. But yeah, you know, you guys kind of touched on it that you know, it was about 10 years ago now, 9 years ago. Like, I didn't know if I wanted to be here anymore, like, just in general. And I finally got some help, and it's okay. It's okay, you know. And like, I feel like women are a little more open about mental health things. So like, I decided, because I'd never had men talk to me about depression and like things like that. So when I started to see a therapist and like my life started to get better and I started to unpack a lot of this stuff that I'd had in me for 30 years or whatever, I started to open up about it on Facebook. And like, a lot of people have written me over the years to say like, thank you for saying something, because I was really down, but I got help. And, you know, and that means a lot to me. So yeah, I try to be very honest. Like, I mean, you guys that watch me, you know, like, I think I'm a pretty open book even on my streams, because like I'd much rather be genuine than some fake person. But yeah, it's you know, get help. You know, it's okay. Like, people have these issues, and you're not weak. You know, you're actually strong for like, you know, going through it and admitting it. You know, so yeah, get that help. You know, there's a lot of great mental health resources out there. And then, you know, if you're struggling with weight loss, you know, I dealt with it for 20 years, you know, and like, you can do it. You know, I'm proof, you know, I've kept it off for years now, like, and I know I'm not going back to it. But like, it's okay to admit, you know, that you have issues, and like, it doesn't make you a weak person. But yeah, get the help, you know, take that first step towards weight loss, you know, even if it's just eating just a little less each meal, whatever it is, I promise you it'll pay off in the end. So, yeah, you know, like I say, get out there and make it a giant day of fun at the end of every stream. But like, yeah, if you knew me 10 years ago, I was a pretty miserable person. My friends put up with me because they'd known me for years, but like, I'm so different now, and I'm genuinely like a happy person now. Like, I love my life. I love doing this streaming thing, like, and it's exciting now because like, you know, this is the first month that I actually make enough where I can pay my bills doing it. So it's like, we finally kind of turned that corner where it's like, yeah, I can do this. So, yeah, don't be scared. Like, you're never too old to take that chance. You know, I did this when I was 44 years old. I moved down here and started a YouTube channel. Like, but you know, chase those dreams. You know, it's never too late. So,
Very well said. I'm going to finish with something very simple. Well, two things. One, I was able to manipulate, so I guess I'm better than I thought I was. I am going to dump you over to Barry's place at the end. Sorry to Scooter. We tried. You know, trying to send some love to him, but we're gonna drop you over to Barry's place at the end. He's at Knott's Berry's Fart. Also, Donnyland is live too out there in California. If you want to go to the California park, so you got Knott's Berry or that. Before I say what I'm going to say, Chad, reminder for everybody next week. Jen mentioned it, Thad mentioned it. We're going to be live. Oh, Ken, Lily's life dad came in. That was the other thing I want to do. Ken, nice to see you, buddy. We are going to be down at Disney Springs next Saturday. There's going to be a ton of people there. And if you're new to the community and you want to come over and meet some great people, come on over. If you'd like to come over and meet Thad or many other, you know, Stephanie and Jen will both be there from this show. And, you know, if you really want, we can call and prank Dame from my phone. She won't be there, but we could do that. So come to the thing and we'll be glad to do that there. So
we don't need to include her. It's all right.
Nah, we can include her. But I'll finish with something very simple. Is pride. 5 letters, 5 strong. 5 letters of the hand, 5 fingers of the feet. I used to say this to many soldiers many a day. You touch the ground, or you touch the air, or you touch a person with those 5 things. But pride is a 5-letter word, just like the 5 fingers of your hand that can touch a lot of things. I'm very proud of you, Thad. I'm very proud of what you've become as a creator in this time and how hard you've worked. And when we've had a couple of conversations of you thinking about passing on it and questioning whether you made the right decision. And we've chatted about things in that nature. And I'm glad you, not that I'm a genius in anything, in no way am I. It just happened that I hit the right spot on that day, and I'm glad you did. And I'm proud of where you've gone, and I'm proud of where I believe you're going to go. I'm also proud of you for sharing what you did and for fighting the battles that you said. And I would just say, go back to Chad's words, because those battles that we fight internally are more tough than any battles we fight externally. And I've been there and done that. So 2 likes from 100. And I'd be remiss if I didn't take us out of here by saying thank you to the ladies. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another great guest, Katie Phillips. Our guest was great tonight. And because again, I can do whatever I want sometimes to get away with it, because by the time these girls will get to yell at me, it'll be too late. I'm changing the ending tonight.